Yo, what's up? This is so crazy. Like, oh my gosh. I've had this dream for a while, y'all. For a while now. For a long while. But let's get into intros. My name is Nia Ebony Alexander. I play Division 1 basketball and I love hoop. I love sports and I have a heart for student athletes. And my podcast is for y'all. It doesn't matter if you are in elementary, middle school, or a young adult in college, this podcast is for you. Now, before I embarked on this journey of creating a pod, I had to make sure my heart posture was right. To be completely honest, being in this space, playing at a high level, it can oftentimes leave people bitter, sour, resentful, disappointed, a lot of things, right? And I wanted to make sure that my podcast was not going to be about venting or bashing coaches or teammates or universities or whatever, I I wanted it to be a place where coaches, trainers, athletic directors, athletes, where we could all glean from. This is a space where we could learn and grow and heal. That's my dream. That's my heart posture that I had to develop and I had to forgive, right? I had to move on in a way that was going to allow me to still be able to nurture the people coming up behind me. And I will say there are a few things I'm not satisfied within this space. One of them being athletes working their whole lives for this dream to get to the highest level. And they get there. They do their time and they leave broken. And one of the reasons I'll mention to you is because of their relationship with their sport. They have a toxic relationship with their sport where they are putting their value and their worth, their validation in how many points they have and how much playing time they get or don't get. And it's leaving them insecure and afraid, truly, when it's gone, because that's everything that they were gleaning on. I'm not satisfied with the amount of conversation and mentorship from fellow athletes to younger athletes pursuing this dream of like, hey, it's not just about the glam shots and the gear. Like, this is hard work. Like, if you play Division 1 basketball or whatever level you're blessed to get to, or football, golf, volleyball, it doesn't matter. There's a certain level of resiliency you must have. There's a certain level of perseverance and grit and emotional regulation, dedication that you must have to have any type of success in this space. It's highly competitive. There's a lot of things you can't control, and we have to be real about that. So when these athletes come into the space, they're aware of the grind and the mindset that they must acquire to survive. I'm not satisfied with athletes turning to drugs, sex, and praise to mask their insecurities and their trauma and their fears. I'm not satisfied with that. It happens a lot, right? There are other ways to heal. There are other ways to get through the frustration without going to these vices. And I want to give that to you all. I'm not satisfied with coaches not holding people accountable because of fear that they're not going to be liked or that they're going to leave. The transfer portal is real. It's not just a whole bunch of soft athletes in there. There are some soft athletes in there. It is also a place where athletes are trying to be strategic about their education and life experiences. It's a space where athletes are leaving toxic team cultures, whether it's cultivated by teammates or their coaches. And we need to talk about that more. It's not just a simple diagnosis. It's truly due to a lack of checks and balances, right? I'm also not satisfied with athletes when their coaches do hold them accountable running. We have to be able to take constructive criticism. I don't care what the norm is. My personality, I'm more of an interrupter. I don't really go with the trends. I don't care if this culture of like, let's be nice, everyone's the same. Everyone's not the same. I'm just going to let that sit and marinate. Everyone is not the same. Everyone has different gifts and different graces. Everyone puts in different levels of work. And people should be rewarded for the person that they have worked hard to be on and off the court. They should be rewarded for the skill and the time they put in to acquire that skill that they have. If you're on a team and you're not better than the first 5 or even the first 7 and you're complaining about playing time, you probably need to start going at their head in practice and start trying to be better than them. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to blame or not look within and say, what can I do to be better? I'm not satisfied with that at all. And ultimately, y'all, my hope is to equip student athletes with the tools to succeed externally and internally. It's all coming out of love. This is all coming out of love. Here's what I know about you, even though I never met you. 3 things I want to share. 1, you are going through something. You're overcoming something right now. Whether it's your past, whether it's an injury, maybe it's money for AAU, travel, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your insecurities. You're overcoming something right now. 2nd, while pursuing this dream of playing, no matter what your sport is at the high level, if you haven't already, you're going to get knocked down. You're going to get knocked down. You're going to wonder if you can make it. And the last thing I know about you is that you've already overcome a great deal. And due to overcoming so many things, you can feel fatigue, which also results in questioning if you can make it. Can you keep grinding and striving for this dream that you've imagined since you were a kid? Well, I have good news for you. And that is that you are absolutely 1,000% going to make it. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to be with you every step of the way. And I'm going to cover everything under the sun. Like, I'm going to cover everything under the sun, from things I've experienced personally and also from my peers. And we're going to get into the nitty gritty of this space. We're going to talk about real things, real challenges that are bigger than what just goes on the field or in the room or on the court. We're going to talk about the personal things that go on as an athlete as well. I'm going to teach you how to keep showing up. That's the biggest thing. Oh my gosh. I'm going to teach you how to keep showing up when you're not getting what you want, when you feel like you're your weakest. I'm going to teach you how to persevere. I'm also going to teach you how to lead from within, from inspiration versus motivation. Because motivation, I love this. Craig Rochelle talks about this all the time. The difference between inspiration and motivation is that inspiration pulls you, motivation pushes you. And that is because motivation is coming from external things. Maybe it's your favorite song, or maybe it's because you like someone on your team, or maybe you like your coach or whatever, right? But those things can fade. Those things can change. But if you have a vision, if you have a dream, like my boy Martin Luther King, right? It will propel you and cause you to act in ways that you never thought possible. And it will cause you to lead from a place of love and passion. That is what I want to bring to you guys. So y'all probably like, okay, what's this girl's story? Like, she's super passionate. What's her deal? I think I owe you guys a story. Like, it's about that time. It's definitely about that time. So I started playing basketball. I really played all sports, to be real with you. I was playing football with the guys. I was playing soccer. I played volleyball. I played all types of sports, but my main sport was basketball. My mom played Division 1 basketball. My dad didn't play in college, but he was one of them like street legends, like the ones if you step in the gym, they know. Like my dad's name's Corey, and people at my high school call him Stephen Corey. Like, come on, y'all gassing that man. But yes, basketball is in my veins, I would say. And I've been fortunate enough. I played at 2 Division 1 universities. So I did transfer. I was a grad transfer. Got my undergrad degree in environmental studies in 3 years. And I got my master's in business with a renewable energy certificate. So I'm educated, y'all. And growing up, my parents instilled certain values in me that stick with me to this day. One of them being a woman of my word. Just if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Being committed, right? Another one is integrity, doing the right thing when no one is watching. And lastly, just being accountable. Being able to look at myself in the mirror and say, am I doing all that I can do? Or can I be more? Is my perspective, is my paradigm skewed right now? Get rid of the emotion. What do I need to be better at in order to get what I want? That right there alone, extremely grateful. But what I'm most grateful for is they instilled in me my faith, my relationship with God. And that has propelled me and taken me to places beyond my imagination just from my faith. So I'm grateful for that. Growing up, y'all, I'm pausing because people are so surprised when I say this, but I have been bullied so much. And because what? It's life. It sucks, but people always find a reason to bully you. I'm sure this is not a unique story. I've been bullied because of how I look, my skin color, my body type, you name it, right? From people that I felt were close to me, that were trying to be my friends. Why bullies always want to be your best friend? I don't know what that is. Like, if you don't like me, leave me alone. I don't know what that is. I'm sure a lot of y'all could relate, but I've overcome injuries in sports. I had a Achilles injury after my freshman year, and that took about a year and some change. It was really hard, very cumbersome, and I had to learn what to do in the still time, which I'm also going to give to you guys in the later pods. And as an athlete, I've had great coaches and I've had great teammates, and I've also had toxic coaches and I've had not so good teammates. And it's all a part of the space we're in. We're all humans. Coaches, they're coming in with their own baggage, their own perspective, and so are athletes, and so are athletic trainers, and so are athletic directors. We all have our own ways, our own MO, ways of doing things. And it's like, okay, how can we talk about this? How can we move in this space where your agenda is not my agenda all the time? And what should be the ultimate goal? What should take forefront of all of our other vendettas? And I believe that's winning a championship, winning a tournament, winning a conference, whatever that is, winning a match. Like, that is the ultimate goal. So I have been disappointed a lot, and I know that I didn't always handle things the healthiest way. I was very hard on myself, to be honest, very hard on myself. And I know that affected me sometimes when I performed. 100%. It caused me to hesitate. It caused me to not enjoy the time that I have. You work so hard and you get there, and then it sucks when you don't enjoy it. It goes by fast. And I was a 6th year, y'all. I was a 6th year because of my injury, and then my senior year was 2020 COVID. Oh my gosh, crazy time. It was 2020 COVID, and I felt like that was a fake year. I don't know about any of y'all that played during that time. It was so weird. We didn't even get all of our games. It was frustrating. I know I was in quarantine like 35, 50, 11 times because I didn't live with teammates. So like my roommate got at quarantine. It was so much. Oh my gosh. And so I was like, I want to stay again. I believed in my team. I believe we were a championship team, and I wanted to see it through. What I want to highlight is during 2020 is when I realized I had extreme anxiety. It ate me up, like to where you feel it in the pit of your stomach, and you just are like, ooh. I would have anxiety attacks. What COVID did, it really pulled the wool over our eyes. Like whatever we thought we controlled, COVID was like, nah, you aren't really controlling this. Like whatever illusion of mastery you thought you had on the world and the events around you, you realize like you don't have control over anything. And I think for me and my personality type and the unhealthy relationship I had with basketball and wanting to be good and wanting to be this star player, really coming from insecurities, really thinking if I got, to the 1,000-point club or all these different things, that it would bring me some sort of validation. I really felt empty when I got some of the goals that I got. One being that it didn't fill me up. And so I can say that with confidence today, I've overcame anxiety. And like I've mentioned before, these are things I'm going to give to y'all. It was hard though. It took a lot of real conversations with myself, things I didn't want to say or admit. I went to counseling, a sports counselor for the first time, and I loved it. I recommend counseling. It's definitely losing its stigma. I know going into it, I had one about it. But it was so helpful. It was so helpful. And I know it got me through my senior season, which was my 6th year at university, 5th year playing. And these are all things that get bleeded into one another, right? Me as a person and me as a player. And us athletes know it can get kind of blurred sometimes. You don't know always why things are making you mad. And that is a space that we need to talk about. It's not just suck it up. It's not just, tackle this person. It's like, how can we do this from a healthy, loving space? You feel me? It doesn't mean you're not going to be as hungry or you're going to lose your dog if you're doing it from a place of love. Like, if anything, you're going to be more creative. You're going to be more in rhythm because you're playing with joy versus this pressure of like, I got my city on my back. I got my family on my back. I'm trying to prove that I'm this dude or I'm this girl, and like nobody could tell me nothing. Like that. It works. I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't work. We've seen great athletes get to the highest level with that mindset. We've also seen great athletes get to the highest level and play with a different type of swag and a different type of hunger that doesn't come from a place of scarcity, right? So that and navigating school, navigating friends, navigating who do I want to be. Those are all real things that happen simultaneously while also trying to play, trying to heal your body, trying to, fit in, whatever it is, trying to, seek God. All these things are going on, distractions left and right. Now you got the NIL and everything going on. It's a lot to manage. Social media, a lot to manage. How much time should I be really on it, right? Those are things I've dealt with personally. And I know it can kill you. Maybe not a complete death, but momentary terribly a death. That was so hard for me to get out. I apologize. And I played many different positions as well, which was frustrating. I hated it. I hated it. I am 5'9", okay? And I am a guard. At my second university, I played a post for a few years, and I did not like it. I did not like how it felt. The first time I did it, I wasn't skilled enough to be able to play against taller girls. My finishing package wasn't as nice as it is now. And so I worked to get there, but it was hard. And I had to accept that this is my role and this is what I need to do for my team. I had to put away my personal vendetta and continue to do that. It was hard. I had to learn how to serve. And I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate to that. And if you ask anyone about me that has interacted with me, I'm confident because of the value my parents instilled in me to be a person of my word, to have integrity. I am confident that people would say that I was a positive person, that I was an encourager, right? And those things are true. I was able to do this at my weakest. Y'all. Like, I really felt broken a lot of the times. I really didn't know how I was going to make it. And for me, it was my relationship with Christ that allowed me to persevere, that allowed me to forgive, that allowed me to love. That is how I got through it, my faith. And I valued doing the right thing over being liked or being in the in crowd or, going with the flow. I valued that more. And as a leader, you're going to have moments where you're going to have to stand alone or you're going to have to speak up, and it's going to be uncomfortable. How do you navigate that? That's also something I'm going to teach you guys, you young leaders out there. I'm going to help you navigate that space because it's hard and you want to be liked and you don't want people to be mad at you. But if you want to win, which we play this sport to win, that's what it takes. It takes hard conversations. And what I haven't mentioned yet is that my last conference game, I scored about 30 points. I was hooping, y'all. The next day in practice, I hurt my back. And this was during a time our team got a post tournament, which the university hasn't had in many years. We were doing well, and I was excited to experience that with my team. We in the conference tournament, we ended up losing second round. I suppose we had a bye, and I wasn't playing. I thought that I was going to heal. I wasn't able to play in the conference tournament. I wasn't able to play in the post tournament. I'm still recovering from that injury today. It's been about a year to date, a little bit over a year. I have a herniated disc, and it was protruding. It was on my nerve, all the way down my leg, all the way to my toes. And even that, I was supposed to go overseas. I was supposed to be further. I was getting a contract to Malaga, Spain to play professionally, and all of it went away. My agent was waiting on me. He was so sweet, but I got to a point where I realized this was too much. I was crippled. I couldn't do anything for myself. During my graduation for my master's program, I was in a wheelchair. It was terrible. And so I realized I'm probably going to have to stop playing basketball. I tell that story to say, what are you going to do when something happens like that? How are we going to heal? What does that feel like? I know for me, I was so disappointed. I was mad at my experience. I was mad at God. I was like, this is not how my story is supposed to end. After all the things I've overcame, I'm supposed to be overseas on the beach. That's where I'm supposed to be, and I wasn't. And during this still time, I'm so grateful for it. I have been able to heal and forgive, and all the things I mentioned earlier in this pod. And during this still time, I realized that although it's harder to be vulnerable and share these things with you. It's much easier to harbor all the knowledge I have and the gems I have. But I'm like, you know what? I got to come back and get y'all. I got to come back and get the homies and the boys and the girls, the young men and young women, and really help them. That's my heart posture. It's not to be famous. It's not to get clout. Like, this stuff ain't cute. Like, this is hard doing this. I'm being vulnerable. It's scary, but I figure on the other side of my fear is healing from somebody else. It's helping that person be a better person on and off the court. I will say this in closing. My podcast is for anybody, but it's not for everybody. What I mean by that is it's not for people who want to be in a pity party. It's not for people who want to place blame. It's not for people that want to stay stuck. It's not for, like, and if you're listening to this and you're like, I think I want to stay stuck, then just like turn it off. Like, and it's still love. Like, you're not going to like it, because I'm not going to baby you. I'm going to tell you with love how you can grow and hope that you receive it. But it's not going to be a, this happened, so I can't do this, or this, and she's doing that, and he's doing that, and we're deleting those conversations from the chat, okay? It's how can we be better? What can we do to impact, add value to the team and the university we're at? And win some games too, okay? Because we're winners over here. We not losing every season, every game. We're not doing that, okay? How do we take a culture that is losing to a winning culture? I've done that too. I got so much tea for y'all. I hope you guys feel my passion and my love through this video, okay? And if you're watching this and you're like, this is for me, Nia, like, this is for me. If this is for you, then I am pleased to give you a warm welcome to my podcast, where I am pushing positivity, purpose, and peace to all student athletes. Because we're just not going to win in our sport, but we are going to win in our mind, body, and soul. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next pod.